Hi, it's Jeremiah Taylor with the Taylor team here at Moboto, and I'm coming to you today with our February 2023 housing market update. Now, we're just in the few days of March, and I will tell you, 2023 has not disappointed with all of the interesting things happening in the housing market. So let's start by talking about inventory. Now, January 2023, we had about 980,000 homes available for sale. That is way too low. Inventory is coming up slightly. We had 850,000 a year ago, but we still have nowhere near enough homes for sale. Now, that's existing home inventory. That represents about 2.9 months of inventory, meaning if we didn't list any new property in the next 2.9 months, we'd run out of homes to sell, but that's unlikely to be a problem because what we're seeing is as the interest rate lockdown or the seller lockdown is super real because rates continue to go up here in the new year. Now, I'll give you another interesting number. When we look at sales in January of 2023, we sold 231,000 homes, which puts us on a seasonally adjusted run rate of just over 4 million homes for the year. Super duper low. A year ago, that was 6.5 million, actually 6.34 million to be exact. And last January, we sold 352,000 homes. So homes are selling a lot slower, which means we have more inventory building up. So, hey, good news. If you're a buyer, you got some more choices. Kind of bad news if you're a seller, there's going to be a little bit more pressure on your price. Now, what's happened with prices? We're flat. If you are a single family homeowner, the prices are up 0.7%. That's 0.7%, not 7%. January 23 over January 22. Now, the reality is prices aren't actually flat. Here's the reality. If you're in the Midwest or the Southern United States, you got a little bit of appreciation, 2.5%, 2.9% respectively. Now, if you're in the Northeast or the West Coast, those high price markets, you actually went backwards. The Northeast went backwards about 1%, and the West Coast went backwards nearly 5% year over year. So we are seeing some price pressure on those more expensive real estate markets in the West. Now, if you look at total home prices, hey, good news, when you add in condos, townhomes, et cetera, prices went up by 1.3%. But again, in the West, they went backwards by 4.6%. But in the South, the Midwest, and the Northeast, prices actually went up just a hair. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is interest rates. Now, what we remember is September, October of last year, we had this crazy run up in rates where we went from in the fives to over 7 inside of like 60 days. It put a lot of pressure on the market, slowed us down. Well, we started 2023 at an average interest rate of right around 6.42%. And at that point in time, the 10-year Treasury note was trading around 3.83%. And so the spread between the two was about 2.6%. Now, if you remember from other videos, historically, that spread is only about 1.5%. But when there's uncertainty or inflation is very high, that spread goes up. The interest rate you pay for your mortgage as it correlates to the 10-year Treasury note goes up. And it makes things less affordable. Now, it doesn't help that we're seeing loan level price adjustments from the government servicing entities, meaning that on top of there being some fear in the mortgage-backed securities markets that's pushing rates up, the government and the people that set the loan level pricing adjustments are also adjusting those rates up. And all this is in an effort to slow down the housing market to help get inflation under control. So good news, bad news here. Good news, through January and into February, we actually saw rates kind of hit this low point. We got as low as 6.09% for the average 30-year rate across the US. What that really means is there's a lot of people getting 5% interest rates in the like first and second week of February. But as it became clear that inflation is maybe not as under control as we thought, those rates are going back up. And here, like into February, early March, we're back to almost 7%. And that spread is all the way back up to 2.7%. And so there's some uncertainty in the market. And I think had you watched the other videos and you did what I said and you took advantage of that window of opportunity, we'd be high-fiving right now because prices have come down significantly from their peak in most markets. You had a window of time to get a pretty decent rate. Seems like that window may have closed for the time being, but where are we going for the rest of the year? I think that is the most important question. The answer is to be determined. The Fed is saying they're going to continue to hike interest rates. So I would expect that 10-year Treasury to continue to climb up. At some point in the future, it's going to become clear we got inflation under control. We should see that spread shrink. Rates should come back down to earth. We'll see what happens with wages. We got a lot of layoffs. We got some interesting things happening in the jobs market. So stay tuned for more. But here's the kind of the finishing thought for you. If you are waiting for rates to come down or prices to come down, I don't know that I'm waiting in this market, because historically prices go up in spring. I would expect that interest rates right now are probably that 7% mark seems to be about where they've held. That's become a nice ceiling for mortgage interest rates. And I don't expect rates to break through that ceiling. So I would get out there, try to find a deal in this market, because we're already hearing, even with rates going up, even with the inventory going up, we're already hearing of multiple offer situations coming back in most markets because we just don't have enough homes to sell. That problem isn't being solved anytime soon. So get out there, take advantage of what's happening in the market. Stay tuned, stay educated, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks so much. It's Jeremiah Taylor signing off at Movado.